Welcome to Warblog. It's started, it appears. Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to play, but I think I'm going to play because I'm struggling through these things, and I've only got two left to do. This one's Turkey, so it's not quite more of the same. So there's really only one left. And if you recall, there were like over 20. So I've just done this one, and I think that's what I'm going to play now. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking, this is insane. I like it, but I was thinking, is there a way of quantifying how insane this is? There's almost enough counters for every hex on the map. You know, in the light of that other one I played just the other day, where I was sort of lauding the minimalistic layout of units, this is the opposite. And I didn't try to do this, it's just how it turned out. I get a bit over, I don't really have any exact method for assessing what I'm going to put on. I just sort of sprinkle them on, so to speak. I won't explain how I do it, but I sort of, I'll sort of think, oh, I'll have a bunch of this or a bunch of that. So I never really know whether one side's got more than the other, to be quite honest, until I sort of play it. But I'm going to play this, but the thing is, I'm playing it with a degree of, I was going to play, I was playing it with a degree of sensitivity, but I'm not, because what I was thinking about was the other one, the battles for al-Narab. That was the one I was thinking I was playing, because that one, al-Narab was taken about 6 times, and the ebb and flow of that I can't replicate. But this is different. So this is actually different. But this is actually, the thing is, one of the things that I sort of marvel at is, because I've always been quite interested in history, is how this is no longer something that happened in March, in a sense, because it's not March anymore. This is now a historic fact. This was part of a counterattack that was supported by the Turkish against the Syrian army, pushing them back across the Ghab Plains. Now, the thing is, I bet there's not a book on this. I bet there's no books at all on the sort of the kinetic warfare of the Syrian civil war. In fact, I feel like looking at some books on the Syrian civil war. I bet it all focuses on the politics. But so this is like a literal fact, and the battles for al-Narab is a really good example. But so is that other game that I played, whose name I can't remember, sort of al-Miriob 2 or something, Muhammad Al Offensive 2, with the PMU units in Iraq against ISIS. The thing is, they're all quite specific and official military operations and events. And the thing is, I'm not saying they would get forgotten, because they wouldn't necessarily, but they're not immediately apparent. I know nowhere where it sort of details all these things. In fact, I'm going to look for a book. I'm going to go and look at the Wikipedia page about the Civil War, because I know all the operations in Turkey against the PPK are actually detailed, and I haven't looked at that in over a year, so I'm going to have a look at that as well if I can remember all these things. But anyway, so we're going to play this, and so it's important to know that it's actually sort of the rebel counterattack against the Syrian army, because obviously they were doing quite well. The Ghab Plains, maybe I should label it, but it's obviously all these plains, and they're coming from these hills with support from the Turkish. So there's the support is in the form of artillery and drones. Now, an interesting thing is I don't know where this came from, presumably one of these two sites. the Turkish took out a drone. So Turkey claims to have destroyed a large amount of Syrian equipment. A drone. Now, we haven't given the Syrians any drones, so we can't do that. I was going to give them some helicopters, but I couldn't find any, and I couldn't be bothered to make a helicopter counter up. Tanks. So I did actually go back and put some tanks in there. There's one there, one there. There's one more, I think. So you can blow the tanks up. 19 armoured personnel carriers. Well, that's just going to be, I think I put some in here somewhere there. Not many. Cannons, howitzers, etc. So there. Anti-tank weapons and mortars. Well, I haven't got any anti-tank weapons, but you can presume there's some mortars somewhere. It's not exact. Armoured vehicles, yeah. 9 ammunition depots. I did actually put those in because that was easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go. I would have actually gone in and put something for all of these, but you know it's irrelevant. But 2,200 Syrian soldiers neutralized. I don't know whether that means they just sort of surrendered or they killed that many. I don't know. But so you know, even there, what we got is this was quite important and quite big, and you know, I bet there's not a book on it. I'm going to have a look. In fact, I'm going to pause now. I'm going to pause and see what sort of books there are on the Syrian Civil War, and I'm going to look at the Wikipedia page, and maybe I'll integrate that with this video. Well, I think we can safely say that the Wikipedia is pretty crap, and there are virtually no books on it. There's a few books, but a lot of them were like published in 2016. They focus on the political aspects and the international aspects, and you know, so to find a book that details all the specific military operations, I don't think it's going to happen. You know, and it's bizarre, and to some extent that's what we got here. The thing is, it's quite hard to put them into context, but you know, as sort of microcosms of matters of fact, it's quite interesting. I wonder if that road ends there, or whether I just forgot to extend it. I think I forgot to extend it. So, obviously with bones, I'm just going to play it because I'm just sort of in a I just want to play it mode. But obviously, well, it goes more like that, doesn't it? That's the front line. And we want to take all this red stuff. So in the first instance, I think, so I'm not going to try and focus on anything because I don't want to. You know, I'm not going to figure out the weak bits, but I did put a lot of these low value units in on purpose. What I think is not so clear is that the no, this isn't that one. I think they get some reinforcements, but I don't know. I think that's battles for Nayrab, but I just don't know where to go first. I mean, I think we've got a clear section up here, 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 here. That's a big hefty line. There and there. Now this central section is going to be difficult. Here it's going to be slightly difficult, but I think we can very easily push here. and here. This is going to be difficult, but we've got this big block of National Defence Forces, and I think really what we want to be doing is just pushing one way or another. There's a little track. I'm going to go down the road and across and basically just punch as hard in that direction. But there's no strategic, this is actually a bloody wall. This is going to be easy. This is an opportunity. This is going to be relatively easy. This is an opportunity. So I'm not going to push against anything else immediately. I'd like to say I can attack here because it looks as though I can, and if these are just on their own. What I'm going to do, because the thing is we've got so much air power, must be able to do something with it. I expect some of it will get shot, but what do I can't think of where the Syrians have a weakness. There's just this mass. There's got to be some sort of logical order to it. There's got to be some sort of things to take first. For example, here, do I want to attack that? I don't know. What we do need to do is to bring these artillery units nearer. And the question is where? Well, they're only going to be able to move one, so we can presume we can see something out there. What's he doing there? No, that's all of us. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably better off moving him. Try and move this artillery forward. These are Turkish observation points, so they're not in use. That might be a good target. If you think and think and think, you come up with something. That might be a good target. I think what we want to do with these drones is to target big stacks. So let's see what we've got in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Let's go for this. Oh, hang on. This is going to be better because there's 3s. The only thing is there's some mechanized in there and things will bounce off. I'm not going to use all of it. So I'm going to use. I'm going to give myself 3 targets that I want to destroy. No, 4. I'm going to have 2 big ones. 1, 2, and I'm going to have 2 small ones. And they are going to be that and that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 4. And I'm going to put 5 against that. So 4 against that, 4 against that, 5, 4. Let's go for this one first. I'm sort of hoping they get shot down because there's too many of them. Look, they're overflowing. Okay, that last one was obviously good. Yeah. I was actually thinking of developing an ongoing victory point thing. I've talked about this before, I think, and it's following similar lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So essentially, every time you take a depression factor, so we took quite a few. For example, this guy is down by 3, so they would have lost 3 points. So either we go up 3 points, whatever. So that's 3 points they've lost. And essentially, I was thinking of like a bar across here, so the bar would sort of go onwards. So I don't know how I would do it, whether or not it would be the middle was 100%, but they would indicate. So you've got a visible gauge, so it'd be a red bar that would slowly creep across here. Now the thing is, it would work in the sense that if I was to lose 2 depressions and then I recovered them and then I lost another 2, that would be 4. So it's cumulative. So although I can recover in theory indefinitely and end up with everything in perfect order, I could lose quite a lot of manpower and then just recover it and then lose it and recover it. But my point system would reflect that sort of victory point thing, which would be an inverse system for the other player basically. So losses against the Syrians would be victory points for the rebels. Now, I don't like anything that has a matter-of-fact effect in the game that is not expendable. It's not, it's something that can be done without. This is so that people that don't really understand how to play are not going to be suffering too detrimentally by not worrying about it. But the reason I'm thinking of doing it is because you can use it as a guide for victory. So, for example, in quite a lot of these things, we know the Syrians are going to win, but you have to win without losing more than 10 points. And then you could see that 10-point thing go up. It's as simple as that, really. Now, I could probably put other things in there to gauge it, and so that if they've got 10 points, the 10-point scale goes across the screen. Because obviously there are games where you might lose 2,000 points, so it's going to have to sort of somehow dynamically fit in there. So it's got to have some sort of scale, know what the thing are. But you could also use it for. So the thing is, the other player could win, even though they can't physically win, by causing as much damage, causing more than a certain amount of damage. And similarly, you can use it to keep a gauge of things. I just think it was an extra dimension, but in here it could be quite useful, because you could say, well, we can only. I mean, this is a situation where the Syrians are being pushed back heavily, losing 10 ammunition dumps. I mean, that's not good. So essentially, I think it would help. So you could sort of say, well, okay, well, you win after you've got 200 depression factors, etc., etc. Where was I? So I've just done that one, presumably. So I'm about to do this one at 5. But I probably won't get round to it for a long while. Oh, shot down. I knew. I was hoping that they get shot down. There's so many of them. That's probably not the way to be thinking about it. But I think it's interesting to see it shot down because we've got so many. We're getting a very good. It's a good example of understanding the spread and the variance of how likely it is for a drone to get shot down, because in theory they're quite vulnerable. And in the concept of realism, you got to sort of think, well, how long could they feasibly? I'm so tired all the time. I'm just tired. Right. So that was just the drones. How much damage did we do anyway? Well, we were only attacking those because we've got an opportunity. 3.2. Okay, so we're doing okay there. 0.7, 1.3, 3.4, 4.9. So those are some nice hits in there, and they're not even anywhere near the front line, so that's good. So but we haven't used any of that to attack here, but we've got plenty of artillery here. So we want to really push this. I mean, this is going to be so simple. Let's push him back first. If I did 1, it would be 5-1. So let's do 2 and get a 7-1. Yep, so we pushed him back. And obviously we're going to use our artillery on here. Our Turkish artillery. Whether it was manned by Turks or it was just the hardware was supplied, don't really know. So look at that, we destroyed one of them already. Well, I think we can push straight in there with almost just those 2 units. Yep. Ooh. Do we want to push on that or come down here and take this artillery position out? Look at that. He's not moved yet. At least he has. But we go there. Push this artillery back. And routed. Got rid of his artillery. TE. Oh, look at that. He went there. And he went forward. And he's still there. Oh, it's so funny. Eliminated. It's a bloodbath. You get 1-to-1, but what I want to do is protect the artillery. And that's the lot. Incredible first move there in that section. What can we do here? Oh, that's 4. It's hard to know what to do with the artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's blow his artillery up. .6, 4.1 or something. Well, that's a bit too easy. Oh, Syrians there. What are they doing there? Don't know what to do here. We only need 2 of these. I think I'm going to leave it because I'm so tired. The thing is, quite often I just don't fall asleep and just sit there for hours. I'm tired but I can't sleep, and I'm just wondering, I get a feeling if I just try to sleep now I would just be sitting here, because I've only been doing it for 32 minutes. Normally I get an hour out of one of these big games, and I haven't even got down to the interesting stuff down here. I thought I don't want to really. I didn't realise I was this tired. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get to sleep, so I'm going to leave it at that, and I vague hope that as soon as I do this I can go to sleep. But ironically I probably won't, but it's really interesting. I might leave this one up and start again some other time, because I do want to actually play it. Okay, I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.